Yeah, with the deal, my people, you know who it is. It's the Don Tony Teflon, and I'm back at you with another one, and this one is about House Frey. Now, it seems to me that House Frey is the most hated house of Game of Thrones, and why wouldn't they be? It seems that they are behind the Red Wedding, so why not hate House Frey? They all look dirty, they don't look that good. And I got into this conversation about the Freys in the chat room while watching John the Kraken Witt show. So that is why you should watch the Hype Watch show live, because you have a chance. You never know who's going to show up in the chat room and get into this discussion. So while in this chat room, I got into discussion about House Frey and why they are the most hated house in there. So it seemed to me while having this discussion that maybe people don't see the books the way I see them, or see this house the way I see them. Now, I'm not saying they're not to be hated, but I think the reason why people hate them aren't justified as they should be. So what I'm going to try to do here is break down the events leading up to the Red Wedding, and you see for yourself if you think Walder Frey was justified in his role at the Red Wedding. Now, after the word of Lord Eddard Stark's arrest for treason reaches Winterfell, Robb Stark calls the Starks abandon the war and marches south toward the Riverlands. Now, it's important to remember that the Lannisters at this time are raiding the Riverlands because of Catelyn. So, at this time, the Riverlands and Tullys are getting their ass kicked by the Lannisters. So you think they're going to support Robb Stark? Of course they're going to support Robb Stark. They need the help already. So at this point, Riverrun is under siege by Jaime, and Robb wants to break the siege before Tywin Lannister gets there from his army from the south. So his plan is to send Rufus Bolton with his foot soldiers to engage Tywin's army while crossing at the Green Fork with the majority of his mounted men. Alright? Now, but in order for him to do this, cross at the Green Fork, he must get permission from Walder Frey at Twins. Now, Walder Frey is portrayed as a scumbag, and I'm not going to tell you that he's not. Now, even Dunkin' Eggs, you see that he says he wants to push him down the well when he's young because he's such a fucking annoying little kid, you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to say Walder Frey is a good motherfucking guy. I'm just trying to put you in the situation that this cat was in when this went down. But now we see this dude, he's in his 90s, right? He has 22 true-born sons, 7 true-born daughters from his marriages, and we don't know about how many bastard sons or daughters he has, but we know he has a bunch out there. Now, we know that he wants to marry these motherfuckers off, but he's looked down upon, so we can't, even though he's still a high lord, he's looked down upon. He's got the nickname the late Walder Frey, so we can't really marry these people off, and there's fucking 9 of them. And that's the way you gain power in this world, right? But we do know about Walder Frey is this. And one thing we can stick by, whether you hate him or not, is that we know that he values family more than anything else. He loves his family, right? And they worship him. They name his kids after him all the time, trying to get this man's favor. So, at the start of the War of the Five Kings, Walder is slow again answering House Tully's summons when Edmure summons him to call his banners, right? But now we must remember that Walder was getting married, and Hoster Tully refused to attend his wedding. So now this dude disses him, and now he needs him, and he expects him to rally right there. So Walder's a little late. So Walder uses this chance to negotiate a marriage contract with Catelyn, and he does so. Now Robb is supposed to marry one of his daughters, anyone he wants, right? And then his sister Arya is supposed to marry Walder's youngest son, Elmar. Alright? And in addition, 2 of Walder Frey's grandson, Little Walder and Big Walder, are sent to Winterfell as wards. And one of his son, Oliver, is made a squire. Now, no matter how you look at the deal, whether you like the deal or you don't like the deal, you must understand that the Starks took the deal. And they also asked for 2 prisoners. And they got their 2 prisoners. So, no matter how you look at it, the Starks took this deal. Right? So, you could also say that the Starks knew they weren't going to fulfill this deal. Because if you ask me, I don't think there's any way they were going to get Arya to marry this cat. And I think they knew that. So I think that's possible that when they took the deal from the jump, they knew they weren't going to honor this motherfucker. And these are supposed to be the most honorable people in the realm, right? So at this time, Robb leads his horsemen to Riverrun, and he's aided by Sir Brendan Tully. And he achieves his mission. He completely surprises Jaime Lannister. He ambushes him in the Whispering Wood. He destroys Jaime's army, and he gets Jaime taken captive.
By the time they knew what was happening, it had already happened. Lady Stark, I'd offer you my sword, but I seem to have lost it.
It is not your sword I want. Give me my daughters back. Give me my husband.
I've lost them too, I'm afraid.
Kill him, Robb. Send his head to his father. He cut down 10 of our men. You saw him.
He's more used to us alive than dead.
Take him away and put him in irons.
Now, in this battle, as with all the other battles that he has his own type of King's Guard, and they're called the Company of Highborn Warriors. And in this company, there are 2 Freys out of the 12 men. Now, Robb then lifts the siege of Riverrun, and that forces Tywin Lannister to retreat back to Harrenhal, because Tywin had beaten Roose Bolton down on the eastern side of the Green Fork, but now he has to retreat. Now, after this, Ned Stark is killed by Joffrey, and all peace, or chances of peace with the crown, is thrown out the window. Right? And that is the time that Robb gets crowned King of the North. But not only is he crowned King of the North, he's also crowned King of the Trident from the people of the Riverlands. So now, you got to think Walder Frey is like, God damn it, I made a great deal here. I got my daughter married to the King of the North and the King of the Trident. I'm holding it down here, right? So he's got himself a good deal, and he's holding his weight. Now, Robb tries to get allies at this time, but he gets shot down twice by the Baratheons and the Greyjoys. Now, Robb, in the meantime, he gathers his forces and launches an invasion into the Western Land. And he destroys this newly formed Lannister's army at the Oxcroft, and he wins the Battle of Ashmark and the Battle at Craig. Now, it's at the Battle at Craig where Robb suffers this wound, and he's tended to by Jaime Westerling. There, he learns that a small force led by Theon Greyjoy has taken over and seized Winterfell, and his 2 brothers are murdered at the time. Now, Jane comforts him at this time when he hears this news, and that is supposedly what leads Robb to take her maidenhead. Now, in an effort to preserve her honor, Robb weds her immediately. Thereafter, the Freys that hear about this leave and withdraw their service because they're furious. Now, we must also remember at this time that at the Battle of Oxcroft, Sir Stevron Frey, and that's Lord Walder Frey's eldest son and Elle, gets hurt and then dies a little bit after. So this man loses his heir. Then, Robb executes Lord Rickard Stark, and he loses their support. Alright? So Robb then wants to take Winterfell back because he doesn't want it to pass to the Lannisters because he's scared Tyrion about Sansa. Now, whether he slighted Walder Frey in his marriage to Jaime Westerling, he suggests Edmure Tully wed Lord Frey's daughter instead. Now, Edmure does not want to do this shit, but then he agrees. Now, after leaving Jaime behind at Riverrun, he then takes the host with him to the twins, where Walder Frey agrees to wed his daughter Rosalind to Edmure. Which leaves us now at the Red Wedding, and we all know what happened there. So, let's take a look at Walder Frey's position at the time when the Red Wedding happened. Alright? Now, we know he has been late before, and he has been made fun of this. But this time, he wasn't late. He put his troops up. He did everything he was supposed to do. Not only when Robb left and didn't marry his daughter, he also lost the marriage to his sons. Right? And Robb had 2 of his sons held captive as wards. Now, he was supposed to have his daughter married to the King of the North, the King of the Trident. And what happened? They asked him to settle for Edmure Tully. Who wants to marry Edmure Tully? Nobody. You also must remember that his eldest son died fighting right next to Robb. That's his heir, right? The Karstarks the Boltons all abandoned Robb. Right? The Lannisters are starting to rally at this particular point. So, what do you think Tywin Lannister said to Walder Frey? Hey, man, you could just sit out of this. You killed some of my men already, but no, just take a seat. Don't worry, ain't no one fucking with you. Is that what you think really happened? You think Tywin came at him like that? Tywin and Roose Bolton had this shit already concocted. You know what I mean? And they went to this cat and was like, listen, you either get down or lay down. And Walder Frey, valuing family more than anything else, had to take the deal. Now, I don't see him having any other choice. And how bad is this deal? Roose Bolton, who would be the new Warding of the North, agrees to marry his fattest daughter, the one he's probably had the hardest time giving away. You know what I mean? He's got that going down. He gets to get his sons back who aren't wargs anymore. So, I don't see it going down like that. You know what I mean? And I think that Tywin Lannister and Roose Bolton has perpetuated the situation to make the people in the book, and it seems like the people out there think that they are the reasons why the Red Wedding happened, and I think that the House Frey are the patsies for it. Now, I'm not saying it's right to violate the guest right. It's terrible. And I think that the Freys will pay for what happened. But you have to remember, Robb's squire, Oliver Frey, wasn't there. He was sent away because they knew he was too loyal to Robb. But if he gets caught, he's going to get killed. Why? Because I think the Freys are guilty by association. Guilty by their last name. You know what I mean? I know a specific situation like that about families and what your family last name is and people who get looked down upon because of their last names. This girl and I rolled up at this other girl's house. It was her friend's house, and this was her new boyfriend. And she was meeting him for the first time, and he held his hand out and looked like a cool cat. And he was like, "What up? My name is Brian." And she was like, "Brian what?" And he was like, "Brian Jones." And she said, "Jones? Ew." And walked right away. And that's it, because, you know, Jones was known as the scumbags out there. And it ain't this cat's fault of the family he's born into, but he was guilty by association. So I think that a lot of people have the phrase, guilty by association. But as I said, for what you did for guy violating the guest right, you will get what's coming to you. But to me, if you disrespect my family in a world where, if you disrespect someone's family, it could be the end of your family, and you think a piece of bread and some salt are going to save you, then that's shame on you. So, if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up it. Please tell your peoples about me, and please spread this across the realm. And you know what you gotta do. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace! And stay sexy.